Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a document that's, well, it's more than just an article about setting up in Hungary. It really looks like a detailed blueprint of services
Yeah, that's right.
designed to help you establish yourself there. And we're talking potentially paving the way for EU residency, maybe even, citizenship down the line.
Exactly. This isn't some general overview. Our source here is a very specific service package description. It's from the ALAN platform founded by Swiss economist Dr. Pooyan Ghamari.
Right.
And it lays out pretty much step by step what they offer, what's included, and the value, or what they see as the value, across these different pathways.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is really to walk through this document section by section. We want to understand the different routes it describes, like starting a business or maybe making an investment,
Right.
and the specific support services they say are offered at each stage, and what the document claims are the potential benefits and requirements. All based strictly on what's written here. Let's try and figure out what's involved start to finish according to this source.
Sounds good. And the document itself kicks off right at the foundation, the initial expert consultation. It really frames this as like the critical first step.
Okay, so before you even really commit to a path, you get this consultation. What does the source material tell us is involved in this first meeting? What actually happens?
Well, it's described as a personal meeting or maybe a video call with one of their experts. The main goal seems to be reviewing your specific situation, your goals, sure, but also your nationality, your background, and basically how eligible you might be for different programs under Hungarian rules.
So it's really about tailoring the approach right from the get-go. The document mentions a strategic assessment. What pathways do they say they look at for you at this stage?
So the source lists a few options they evaluate to find the best fit for you. They're described as routes based on maybe tourism, business, investment, or specifically company formation. It's about seeing which door makes the most sense based on your circumstances.
Right. And the document seems quite direct about the outcome of this consultation, focusing on transparency. It actually says you get honest answers about program rules, risks, timing, and next steps. Why does the document make such a point about the value of just this initial step?
Well, it explicitly states the benefit is it saves time and money, prevents costly mistakes from day one. I think the insight here is that figuring out international relocation and all the legal stuff on your own without knowing the specific rules for your situation, well, that's where people can waste a lot of time and resources.
Yeah, I can see that.
So this step, according to the source, is designed to stop that happening by setting you on the right track immediately.
Which leads to the concrete thing they promise after this meeting. What do you actually walk away with?
A personalized action plan and quotation for all needed services. So basically, you leave with a clear roadmap, tailored specifically to whatever pathway they recommend, plus a cost estimate for the support you'd need for that plan.
All right, plan in hand. The next logical step is, well, physically getting to Hungary. Let's look at the services described for the actual arrival. The source talks about visa assistance.
Yes, covering tourist or Schengen visas, depending on where you're from, obviously. The document says this includes full support with the application itself, figuring out all the required documents, which, can be a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Booking embassy appointments, and even guiding you on how to best present your case during the application.
And it covers practical things, too, like help getting a letter of invitation if needed or arranging travel insurance.
Exactly, if those are requirements for you. And the document is pretty clear on the value of this specific help, right?
Yeah, what does it say?
It states this: reduces visa refusals and ensures your first entry to Hungary is smooth. I mean, the thinking seems to be that even just getting the visa, which sounds simple, can be complex. Messing it up could derail everything before you even start. This service aims to stop that risk.
Okay, makes sense. So you've got the visa, you've landed in Hungary. What happens next? According to this document, it mentions arrival services and orientation.
Right. This is about making that immediate physical transition smoother. It includes practical help like airport pickup, assistance, finding initial accommodation, maybe a hotel or a temporary apartment,
Okay.
a city orientation to kind of help you get your bearings,
Yeah.
and providing a starter guide to daily life in Hungary. Just the basics.
Getting you settled so you're not immediately lost trying to figure out everyday stuff and the value the source puts on this.
It reduces culture shock and enables you to focus on business from arrival. The idea here, I think, is recognizing that moving isn't just legal and financial. It's personal, it's logistical. And tackling these initial hurdles lets you concentrate on the main reason you're there, setting up your business or managing your investment.
Okay, so with the initial arrival sorted, Let's dive into one of the main pathways the document describes, the business route. This is for entrepreneurs, people wanting to set up a company. The first step detailed is company formation.
Yeah, this is the process of actually creating the legal entity in Hungary. The document outlines support for the name check, making sure it's available, preparing the articles of association, which are like the company's founding legal documents,
Right.
securing a registered legal address, handling the official registration with the authorities, getting the company's tax number. It also mentions VAT registration if you need it.
Okay, quick clarification. VAT, that's value-added tax, common in the EU.
Yeah.
So registering for that is often necessary for businesses, right?
Often, yes. Depends on the business activity and turnover. And crucially, the document states they provide support for opening the company bank account.
That can be a sticking point sometimes, can't it?
It definitely can be when you're setting up internationally. They also say they cover the necessary translation and notarization of all the required documents.
And the source points out a specific benefit about how fast this company formation can happen.
Yes, it promises a fast, compliant, and ready-to-operate company setup in 3 to 5 business days.
Right.
So the emphasis seems to be on speed, but also making sure it's all done correctly, legally, getting that structure up quickly.
Okay, company's formed. Then the document details support for business plan development.
Right, and this isn't just, any old business plan. The document specifies it's tailored to meet Hungarian standards. It needs realistic financial projections, market research relevant to Hungary, and a clear operational plan.
Why is this specific, tailored business plan highlighted as important in the source material? What's the point?
It says it strengthens residency application and future business growth. So this shows the business plan has 2 jobs, really. It's vital for the business itself, obviously, for planning and viability. But it's also a critical piece of evidence for your residency application as a business owner.
And that leads us right into the business residency application process itself.
Exactly. This is where you apply for your personal residence permit based on having set up and running this business in Hungary.
Yeah.
The document says they handle preparing and filing this application.
Yeah.
And provide support in gathering and certifying all the many documents needed.
What kind of documents does the source list as examples that they help with?
It lists proof of accommodation,
Yeah.
health insurance. It's almost always essential for residency bank statements to show you're financially stable, and that detailed business plan we just talked about.
Right.
It also explicitly includes support with scheduling and actually attending the necessary appointments
Yeah.
with the immigration authorities.
So guiding you through that whole bureaucratic side of things and the value listed for this kind of comprehensive support.
It ensures legal compliance and maximizes the chance of approval. The thinking here clearly is that immigration processes are complex, lots of paperwork. Having expert help focused on getting every detail right significantly boosts your chances of getting approved.
Okay, let's switch gears now to the other major pathway the document describes, the investment route, sometimes called a golden visa program, though they don't use that exact term here. The first step detailed is investment fund selection and due diligence.
Right. For this route, the document says you get an in-depth briefing on the 2 officially approved funds, which it identifies as Sprint and Gravitas. This briefing covers, how they've performed, any specific restrictions.
So the document implies these are the specific investment options for the program they're describing. It also mentions personal introductions to licensed fund managers. What about the due diligence part? What does that mean here?
Due diligence, yeah. It basically means doing your homework thoroughly. The document says they conduct legal due diligence on the fund documents themselves, they scrutinize the fee structures, and review investor protections. It's about making sure the investment itself is sound, compliant, and clear for you, the investor.
And the stated value for the investor in doing this prep work.
It makes your investment decisions safe and fully transparent. The point is, large investments, especially when they're tied to getting residency, really need careful checking. This service is designed to give you that security and clarity before you commit funds.
Okay, makes sense. So funds selected, reviewed, then it's about investment execution and certification, making the investment happen.
Exactly. This is the practical step. The document describes support with actually transferring the funds, making sure you comply with anti-money laundering rules, which is pretty standard for large sums,
Right.
and getting the official investment certificates. These certificates are the proof you need for the residency application.
And how are the funds handled? Does it say anything about security during the transfer?
It mentions secure handling via escrow or direct fund channels. Escrow means a neutral third party holds the funds until certain conditions are met.
Okay.
It adds a layer of security before the investment is totally finalized or, before the residency part moves forward.
And the value highlighted for this execution step.
It guarantees regulatory compliance and investor security. The insight seems to be that the mechanics of a big investment have to be handled perfectly, not just for your financial safety, but also to meet the strict rules of the residency program itself.
Which brings us to the actual application, the guest investor residency application.
Right. This is filing the full application for the residence permit under this specific guest investor pathway. The document states this includes comprehensive document preparation, liaising with the relevant government departments, and keeping track of your application's progress.
And there's an important detail mentioned about family inclusion for this particular program.
Yes, the document explicitly says this application process includes support for bringing your family along, your spouse, kids under 18, and even dependent parents. It's not just for the investor alone.
So the service covers the whole family unit wanting to move. And the value proposition for this comprehensive application support.
Full peace of mind from investment to residency approval. I think the idea is, once you've made that significant investment, your focus shifts entirely to getting the residency approved. This service aims to manage that final stage end-to-end, making it as smooth and worry-free as possible.
Okay. We've covered the initial planning, getting to Hungary, and the two main paths, business or investment. But the document goes further, outlining ongoing corporate tax and legal support. It suggests maintaining your status and operating legally needs continuous work.
Or absolutely. That's essential for staying compliant and successful long-term. This includes services like accounting and payroll.
What's that involve, based on the document?
Things like monthly bookkeeping, handling payroll if you have employees, dealing with the annual tax filings, and just making sure you're continuously meeting both Hungarian and potentially broader EU standards.
Keeping the business totally compliant, the value stated there.
It keeps your business fully legal and audit-ready. The insight being that staying on top of financial compliance in a new country really needs local expertise, and this service provides that. They also mention tax optimization and planning services.
Okay, this sounds like it goes beyond just filing taxes.
Exactly. The document describes analyzing both your personal and your corporate tax situation. They talk about developing custom strategies, like how to handle dividend payments optimally using double taxation treaty benefits.
Those are the agreements between countries to avoid being taxed twice on the same income, right?
Precisely. And also structuring international operations efficiently from a tax perspective.
Aimed at improving the bottom line while staying legal. What's the stated value of this planning?
It maximizes profits and minimizes tax exposure. The key point here is that different countries have different tax rules. Understanding how Hungary's rules work, especially with treaties, can make a big difference to your net income. And finally, under ongoing support, there's business administration and compliance.
What kind of recurring admin tasks does this cover?
This covers maintaining your registered office address, providing company secretarial services, that's managing company records, filings, that sort of thing, and doing regular compliance checks. It also includes support for things like required annual meetings, making sure documents like licenses get renewed on time, and filing any changes, like a change of director, with the authorities.
So keeping everything ticking over correctly, what's the value of this continuous oversight?
It ensures ongoing eligibility for residency and keeps your business safe. Safe from legal or compliance problems that could risk its standing or even your residency status. The insight is clear. If your residency is based on your business, that business has to stay active and compliant long-term.
Makes sense. Now, beyond the business or investment side, there's the whole aspect of actually living in Hungary, especially if you're moving with family. The document covers personal and family integration services.
Yes, addressing those crucial non-business parts of the move. This includes specific support for family member residency and help with schooling.
What kind of support is detailed there?
Full support for getting residency permits for all your family members. That means help with the necessary documents, translations. And it also offers specific help navigating the process of getting kids into schools or universities there.
So, making the move smoother for the whole family, addressing their specific needs, the value.
Smooth relocation for the whole family. It highlights that a successful move isn't just about the main applicant's paperwork. It's about the entire family unit settling in well. They also cover health insurance and access to private medical services.
Health insurance is usually mandatory for residency, isn't it?
Almost always, yes. The document says this service involves arranging compliant health insurance policies for everyone in the family meeting that requirement. And it also offers guidance on how to actually use the healthcare system, both public and private, in Hungary.
Protecting health and meeting residency rules at the same time. The value.
It protects health and meets all residency conditions. So it's about well-being, obviously, but also ticking a non-negotiable box for legally living there.
Okay, so you're set up, living in Hungary, business or investment is running. What about the long-term horizon? The path towards permanent status, maybe citizenship?
Yeah, the document clearly outlines what it calls a permanent residency and citizenship roadmap. It frames this as a guide for that longer journey.
What does this roadmap, as detailed in the source, actually involve?
Well, it includes things like proactively monitoring your status, sending reminders for key renewal deadlines for your initial temporary residency. But more significantly, it provides guidance and full document prep support for applying for permanent residency, which the document notes is typically possible after 5 years of continuous stay.
Okay.
And then eventually citizenship, which is described as being possible after 8 years of continuous stay.
And for citizenship, there are often other requirements, like language or culture tests.
Yes, the source mentions including support specifically for language learning, understanding the culture, and preparing for any exams needed for those citizenship tests.
So it's support designed to potentially take you through the whole process, from temporary status right up to becoming a citizen. The value of having this long-term plan laid out.
Seamless transition from temporary to permanent status and eventual EU citizenship. The insight is that the process doesn't stop once you get initial residency. It's a multi-stage thing, and planning for those later stages is part of the whole strategy from the start.
The document also lists a bunch of additional business and lifestyle convenience services. These sound like extras that just make operations and daily life even smoother.
Yeah, kind of quality of life and operational efficiency things.
Yeah.
On the business side, they offer services for office setup or providing a virtual office,
What does that mean, practically?
arranging actual physical office space if you need a base, or providing virtual office services. That usually includes a business address, maybe reception services, call handling.
Giving you an operational presence quickly, maybe even if you're not fully relocated yet.
Exactly. The value listed is quick operational presence with or without full relocation. So it caters to different needs for physical presence. They also offer support for local banking and broader investment advisory services.
We talked about company bank accounts earlier, but this sounds more personal.
That's right. This is about helping with opening personal bank accounts in Hungary or maybe elsewhere in the EU. And it also provides advice on personal investments, buying property in Hungary, managing your personal investment portfolio within the country.
Helping you manage your money and assets effectively in that new environment. The value here.
Secure financial management and expansion in the EU. It's about enabling financial growth beyond just the initial business or residency investment. And for connecting locally, they include networking and business integration support.
How do they help you make those connections?
By providing introductions to local business groups, chambers of commerce, other service providers. They also mention invitations to events, general networking support, and providing market intelligence relevant to your business area.
Helping you build relationships and understand the local market. The value.
Accelerates business growth and builds local credibility. The idea being that success isn't just about the legal setup, it's also about becoming part of the local business scene.
Finally, the document mentions a really high level of personal support. The white glove relocation and concierge service? Sounds fancy.
Yeah, this is described as providing a personal relocation assistant. Someone dedicated to helping with all the little and sometimes big details of settling in.
What kind of daily life stuff does this assistant help with?
It covers practical logistics, help with school enrollment beyond just the initial application assistance, support with renting or buying property, getting utilities set up, and generally just helping with day-to-day issues that crop up when you move somewhere new. It even mentions access to emergency support, legal, health, admin needs.
Wow, that sounds incredibly comprehensive for navigating everyday challenges. The stated value for that level of service.
Stress-free transition, full support in your new country. The insight is pretty clear. Moving countries is a massive undertaking, and offloading these practical, often stressful tasks can make a huge difference to your overall experience. And then the document kind of wraps up by summarizing the philosophy behind how all these services are delivered.
Right. It emphasizes a transparent process, clear pricing, personal support.
And it also highlights the modular nature of everything we've just talked about.
Meaning you don't necessarily have to sign up for the whole package?
Exactly. The source notes that each service can be used on its own, standalone, or you can bundle them together into a package, depending on what you actually need.
And who are the people providing this support, according to the document?
They state it's managed by licensed lawyers, accountants, and experienced immigration professionals, emphasizing the qualifications of the team.
It mentions getting a tailored proposal.
Yes. That initial consultation we started with leads to getting a proposal specifically designed for your situation, outlining the services they recommend, the costs, and that personalized roadmap forward.
And it really reiterates the full scope, doesn't it? Stating they cover everything from your first inquiry to long-term citizenship.
Aimed, as they put it, at ensuring your security, efficiency, and ultimate success throughout that whole potential journey.
Wow. So looking back at everything laid out in just this one document, we've traced a potential path from that very first step, understanding your options, getting a plan,
Hmm.
through actually arriving in Hungary, setting up a business or making that key investment, managing all the ongoing complexities, corporate, personal, and even mapping out the long road towards potentially permanent residency and citizenship.
Yeah, seeing such a comprehensive, truly end-to-end suite of services detailed like this, it really does underscore the layers of complexity involved.
Hmm.
International relocation, business setup, it's not just one application, is it?
Not at all. It involves navigating different legal systems, financial rules, personal logistics, long-term planning across so many different areas. It makes you appreciate the sheer number of tasks someone needs to manage or get help with.
And that leads to maybe a final thought based on unpacking this specific document.
Hmm.
Seeing all these very specific services listed out, from translation help and health insurance right down to business plan writing and school admissions, help, it really raises the question. How many intricate moving parts are truly involved in making a new country actually feel like home, beyond just having the right visa stamp? And, how many of those crucial steps, those potential hurdles, just stay invisible or maybe underestimated until you're the one who actually has to navigate them yourself?